Hello guys. Where do I start with the video? So I've in a U-Haul obviously is because for one reason, actually two reasons. For one, I'm in a rough position within 2 weeks of being actually okay, let's just start from where I lived at, right? Um, so I lived in Phoenix for a while, right? And I stayed with my sister for about maybe close to maybe a year. This is when COVID happened, so throughout those months, I was able to save enough money for me to get myself my own place, and plus, on top of that, I had my own warehouse job, and I was working the warehouse job I had when I was 18. I decided to go back to that warehouse job again, make some money, make some, time, and, try to get another car and another vehicle. So that happened throughout the whole 2021 year. And plus, on top of that, I was, helping my sister pay rent. And it's just different situations that I've been through. Um, what else? So, whenever I had enough money, right, to get another place, I went to an apartment um complex. I was looking for a place to get my own place, and I was working on it throughout 5 to 6 months, right? And then I found one place was pretty decent and cheap, was pretty, it was pretty decent. It was only a one bedroom apartment and only cost me 1,100, but that's including utilities, which wasn't really that bad. It was a one bedroom, and plus it included everything as a regular apartment does. Um, so when I got the apartment, I got the keys and everything. I was just so happy that I got an apartment. Um, Things have started to go wrong where I thought that maybe if I, get another apartment, I'll get another car. So, um, I obviously I had a car. Um, so the other car that I had, it was I think it was a Chrysler 2015. If I can remember the exact, well, it was a 2015 Chrysler. So when I got the car to that same, I guess you can say maybe a year when this was like, okay, I got the car when almost when COVID started. Basically when COVID started, I got the car, and it was luckily things were open before it happened, and I had a, I had a nice car, nice black Chrysler. Fast forward, I had my apartment during the year, which is 2021. I had the car, and I still had the car, I was still making payments for it because it was a used vehicle from a different dealership. And when I got the car, I was still paying for it, which was my payments were probably only like $200, 200, 250 with the starting credit. This is like a credit line, basically when I start my own credit, right? Um, but the balance on it was very low, and it was only 15. Oh, no. The vehicle was under $10,000, and it was a 2015 Chrysler, and it only had, if I can remember the exact miles, it only had 40,000 miles. If, yeah, I think 40, I think it was around 41 something, but I had a nice car, and a couple months go by, which is, June, I thought to myself, I was like, okay, let's go get another car. So I ran to the dealer and I asked him if I can get a trade-in. And what I messed up was I still had the car, right? The used car, and the used car was my way to get out of my situation, because that used car started having problems, and I realized that I kept getting that car maintenance too, and getting the tires changed on it, and regular oil changes, and what a vehicle needs. But I got caught up in trying to get myself another car, so when I went to the dealership, it's the wrongest decision ever I made, and I got myself a car. Like it's a used car, but it was a nice 2019 Chevy Cruze, which I currently still have now. And I'll tell you the story. Like, the reason why I'm in the position now is probably maybe because of that, or maybe it's just because the job that I'm getting. But I got the car, and right, and I didn't know about any of this. I didn't know that like, when you get a car, you have to get um your credit has to be a certain at a certain way, and then you have to pay the principal amount. Then you gotta put the down payment on the car, and then you gotta pay how much you want to pay monthly towards the car in order for you to sustain and keep the car, right? And the dealership, I think they fooled any other kid. I was just 21, and I got the car. I mean, I got the car. It was running nicely, and that car had only, it was used, so it only had like 20, I think like 28,000, 28,000 something, 100 and, it was around 100 and something miles. I don't know it was somewhere around 100, but it was a used car. It was, everything was working, functional, and down the line, I got that car, right? The car's still under my name. I'm still making payments efficiently, changing regular oils and stuff like that, and getting the car maintenance. Cool. I'm taking it to the dealer and trying to balance that with whatever income that you have, with the rent that you have, and then the amount of money you end up saving within that time period of you working so many hours and days and weeks. And especially now in the economy that we're in, people are basically working three different jobs in order to make ends meet, or putting food on the table, or either paying off debt in general, or trying to save up money, especially with things going on within the country too, and outside of it. And whenever, back to the story, whatever happened to that car, things started to go wrong after I got my other apartment. And I thought I had a decent amount of money saved up for the next apartment that I had, which was a $1,500 one bedroom apartment. It was very luxurious, kind of luxury uh apartment complex. And I had my job then. I was working as an independent contractor, making deliveries and stuff like that within my car, and sometimes I would use a company car, and during the meantime I would have my own hours, and it paid pretty good. I had decent amount of money saved up. So what happened was I got that apartment approved and everything, because I thought everything would work solidly. But I didn't know that we would have to, there's a certain point in your life where you kind of messed up financially, where you're figuring out things on your own, and then some things would pop up like unexpected things, and you start paying for everything by yourself. And it's so hard now that, especially in this economy, you got to be making anywhere around above 3,000 or above that in order to make a living for yourself, in order to, put food on your table. I mean, especially for a person like me by myself, I could probably try to work some under 3,000, but it would have to be cheaper because I would have to save money, and plus on top of that, I would have to go out of my way to, keep working so much hours in order to provide for myself and have, just, grind and keep working. But the thing I learned was the expenses that came with everything, the expenses that are with buying stuff for an apartment, um, you know, food, and then your hygiene stuff, house supplies, or like apartment supplies whenever you clean for your apartment or whatever place you're staying at. And then you gotta pay for all these things, right? I was kind of juggling that by myself, and I realized like I was working too, and then I was like, is this like I don't know if it came to a point where I kind of stopped caring what I was doing. Like like when I was working one day, right? I was thinking about all this. I was like, I already achieved getting an apartment. I already got my car. And then well, we'll get into the car situation, what's happening with the car now. But there came to a point in my life where that car was putting so much heat on myself, or like so much pressure on myself to keep it maintained and keep it the way it is. Um, but and plus the apartment too, which I had, and the amount of times I've, tried to get my things situated, my finances, and it's just I kind of got tired. Like there was one day where I was like, why do I even work to in order to make a living, right? Don't get me wrong, I love working, but the amount of jobs that I had, those jobs weren't for me. No matter, I don't even care where I work at right now. I'm just glad that I'm employed and glad I had a job. Cool. But I want to work towards my dreams. That's where it hit me reality wise. Like, not reality wise, but in a way that most people don't think is possible, is that I really want to be an artist, or I want to be like some kind of movie involvement with movies, and like doing filming, or either talk about movies in general to a camera, or try to actually do something with my life, right? And I was caught up with the civilian world where I was trying to balance being a regular person while trying to do that on the side. So I kind of started my YouTube channel, but it's kind of eased off the pain, where I did a couple videos here and there. I did drawings. Some of them are maybe crappy now, the way I look back on it. And then I did movie reaction trailers. Whenever movies trailer drops, I'll be like, oh, let's go check this movie out. I might go see it. And then sometimes I'll do movie reviews and stuff like that. And I still have passion for it. I still have. It's just that it came to a point where I wanted to do it full time, right? And I've never told anybody of this. I don't tell family members this, but that's what I want to do. I want to do, like, I see these people that are like involved with movie stuff, or involved with like being in the movie space, or being a part of like an artist, or like an artist being like big, making it big as a, doing these, brands and stuff like that. But I don't really think of it like that in a way, because I always fantasize it. I just want to see it reality wise firsthand, is what I'm trying to say. And I've been neglecting what I wanted to do. It's because the amount of time I've been trying to live as regular civilian life, where I need to, work and eat, pay my own bills, and live by myself, and that things like this come up, and you're doing things by yourself, right? And fast forward, a year goes by, I was thinking about this. I was always consistently thinking about this, and every time I come back from working, I would always watch movies, and like I would just sit down, like I can review this one day, or like I can do it. But I just kept procrastinating on it, is because like I just didn't get comfortable talking to the camera. I just like, I have to be a certain way to talk to people, or to have to be an expert at it. And I always watch videos, right, where there's people that are explaining the movies, but they're going into so much detail about it. Like they're talking about it like, oh, this, like the reviews and stuff like that. I always like fantasize like, wow, like I want to do that. And then yeah, like a couple months passed by. Um, Still thinking about my dreams, and I wanted to go full time YouTube, and I just kind of put it off. It was here and on. I would drop videos here and there. I was doing that, and then days kept going by where my finances weren't in line either. So I was thinking like, I have to work so many hours in order to, provide for myself, and, make a living off of these jobs, and things start slowing down. Like I said, the independent contractor job. Basically, I would deliver boxes and stuff like that to different, uh, either pharmacies, or either different places and stuff like that. And I would do, regular deliveries too, like food and other stuff. I would try to, create my own schedule in order to, make my money, and try doing that while doing a passion that you love on the side. It's a bit hard. It's because you're consistently thinking about finances. You're consistently thinking about how you're gonna survive while you're trying to do your thing, and then trying to mix that all together and try to figure out your schedule. So there's a couple of weeks went by, and then my apartment lease came up, and I wanted to see if I can be able to stay with the apartment so I can continue to do what I was doing. But they said that they would boost up the rent to $200 extra, and it was ended up being 1,700, and I was like, I don't think I can afford that right now at the moment. And plus, my income was still around maybe 4,000, like I try to keep it above that, just because I work so many hours. But don't mind this. I was actually paying for the majority of stuff that I had in my apartment. I had internet. I had sometimes always food. I had always food in my house, and I bought, you know, utilities. I bought um like basically anything to survive on, and I bought my like I had majority of things I had in my apartment in order to keep myself in a position where I'm, happy with my job, and I tried to maintain that, but the cost of living has been going up, and I didn't have enough money saved up for the next 2 or 3 months for a next rent and stuff like that. Whenever the next rent pops up for my lease, and I didn't want to work 3 jobs, and it came to a point where I've said, screw it. I've I le- I'm not gonna get another apartment. I'm gonna try to live with my family. I don't get me wrong. I love my family, but sometimes we actually need our own space, and I get it. It's because we stay we stay in amongst ourselves, right? I think that's what majority of my family does. I don't know if we keep things to ourselves majority of the time is because we want our own privacy, right? And you're an adult, you get these things, want to figure out things on your own. You want to go venture out and go see things. That's what I want to do. So last year I cut my lease. I threw my all my belongings in the storage. I said that I'm not gonna pay no more rent, no more, and I'm gonna try to figure out if I can, enjoy traveling. Cause like, opportunity came up for me to go canvas. Like this is how it started with the canvassing role. I didn't think about college because I was so busy with my work, so I wasn't able to get going to college, and plus on top of that, I have debt now still with the car that I have right now, and yeah, I got into the political thing, and I enjoyed it for a little bit, but it came to a point where the job it wasn't really hard of a job. It's very, very easy. All you do is talk to voters, ask them a few questions. You talk to voters, ask them a few questions. These are information we gather. These specific questions go to our campaign and then our field directors and stuff like that. They handle all the information we talk to, and we get paid. So that's all we did. And I stayed in a hotel, and I met a couple people. I met some friends and stuff along the way. And you know how jobs are, right? You can only work a certain amount of months, and then you leave to another state, or another job pops up pretty soon. So that job that I ended up having, I left is because, for one, these campaign jobs don't really last too long. They're not really, I would probably say, like a career in a way, but it's like a come and go situation. Even now, if I were to jump in on a campaign, I would go to a different state, right? But everything's already paid for. And then there's a certain month where you get a job and then you're on the job for a couple months, but it allows you to save money while you're working, which is the coolest. I guess you could say you're traveling, paid travel in a way, but you're actually doing work for these politicians and stuff like that in order for them to get elected. Uh, Besides the job in general, I kind of enjoyed it for a little while, and I was like, maybe this is it, and this is the job I wanted. But come down the line, or like down the line, I thought of myself. I was like thinking about, I love my passion more than I love the any of the jobs that I had. So I was looking back at my old videos. I look so happy, like doing movie reactions and stuff like that, and doing. I don't know if I still happy or not, but I just kind of lost myself. I don't know if they say lose yourself is a real thing, but that's kind of how I feel right now. And a couple months passed by. I was still caught up. Luckily, that apartment, like having an apartment in general, it allows you to keep you busy and employed working because you're forced to work and you're forced to do everything in like society wise. You're gonna have to provide for yourself. You need a stable job and a career and stuff like that, which I wasn't really thinking of. I was just thinking of how I might be able to provide for myself and how I'm gonna be able to eat and stuff like that while I'm trying to do my YouTube thing. Because I didn't think of college, and I thought the college was always a scam. But if I really think of it now, it's like, yeah, college is good, but I would have to go to college for a good reason because I want to go. There's one school I want to go to, but it's just a lot of money. I can't handle all that debt on me right now, especially in the situation that I am right now, which I'm getting to. A couple of months passed by. That campaign's already over by last year, which is it was at the end of 2023. November rolls by, October. So I was back on the contracting job, which the campaign ended pretty quickly and pretty. I guess you can say the campaign ended pretty not bad, but the candidate that we're supposed to canvass for, he dropped out of the race. So it kind of put us out of a job where we had to go home and actually look for a job. So I took off from that job, didn't go back to it. A couple months passed by. I as soon as I got back home from Vegas, because we were stationed in Vegas for a little while to actually keep working out there, and I actually enjoyed Vegas because I get to sightsee people and stuff like that. Met some people there. Um, but I had to go home, so I took my car, I took all my clothes and everything because I was staying there for a couple months because everything's already paid for. Luckily, the jobs like that, they actually pay for majority of things like the housing and stuff like that. Um, I had to leave. So because they didn't have no project available or nothing for us right now, so we had to go home. So I went home. I didn't because the pay was kind of. I guess the pay. I think the reason why the pay was pretty decent from those jobs is because it's only like three above or like below 3,000, like somewhere around 2,900. If I can remember the exact number, it's kind of like 3,000 wise. But anyways, um, yeah, I was still paying the car. I still had a decent amount of money in my account to pay the car, and I was using that car to drive around Vegas, and then because like it put a lot of miles on it too throughout, using it for work too, and I started paying off that car, and things started to, fall apart where I had to take it to the dealership and I had to pay some money, and they tell me this is wrong with it and that's wrong with it. It's because the amount of times I drove it around, I didn't take it to the dealer, but I kept maintenance on it though, because there was problems with it. I had to get, new tires. We keep talking about the vehicle. The vehicle's what it is right now. The vehicle. Fast forward to now. I was working, still working, saving up money, and I was staying with my grandma and my aunt during the time. And my grandma did have a house in Maricopa, so I thought maybe if I could stay with my grandma for a little while, then I could try to save up money again to get another place for myself or, you know, down the line. So a couple months passed by. I've been staying with them, but I had to, obviously when you stay with family members, you got to pay for rent. So I helped them out with rent. I was working, like I said, I was working my regular 8 hours, or sometimes I would push a little bit harder to work a little bit more hours. Um, Fast forward to Christmas time, we had a hard time moving out. So because we comes to find out that our rent was going to be almost 12, like $2,000 from my grandma, and she couldn't afford that at the moment. So we kind of had to leave. So we helped my grandma. We helped got a U-Haul, took it to the storage, and their stuff is still in the storage from this time of year. It's already gonna be almost December. It's gonna be a year without a house that we can't even afford right now. But anyways, fast forward to a couple months after there was a Christmas time. We spent our Christmas with, our family here and my other aunt. Um, I was still passionate about drawing and doing all this other stuff. I just kind of, it's like an on and off thing where I'm able to do it when I'm able to do it, and I'm unable to do it when I want to. So it's kind of like that's how I felt about my art and my movie stuff. That's kind of how I felt. Like this art thing and hobby thing is not really a priority. It's like making money and being in a career or being not in a career or a job that I don't like. That's more of a priority than making money and surviving. Uh, so I've been doing that throughout the months and been trying to save money, pay off that car, and the car is I'm literally still in debt with the car. I made the wrong decision to make that to purchase a car like that. It's because when I traded in my black Chrysler, I got the car for at least like 21,000, and I put literally 2,000 down. And then I got the car, and then the payments were like 450. So I was like, oh, cool. And then make sure maybe down the line I can pay it off to like keep the car paying it off every month and keep the credit above where it needs to be. But my credit started going down because after you miss one payment, it goes down. So whenever that happens, I try to, you know, get caught up. So that's what stressed me out is like being a person that's responsible for all this stuff. You can't juggle everything. Sometimes you can't juggle everything all at once. It's because you gotta focus on one thing and the other thing and stuff like that. And fast forward, the car started having problems, and it started having major problems where the car started, getting worse. Mind you, my brother was staying with me, right? That's when I had my apartment, but things started happening from there on because I got into an accident. There's a rear end on the car, and that whole situation got me into a point where I thought I was financially done with everything because I thought I had to pay everything out of pocket, out of my own expenses. Um, but the guy's still paying for my damages right now. I'm literally like to the point where I want to get rid of that car, but I'm unable to, is because the amount of situations that I'm put in, or the amount of situations I'm in right now, or the amount of situations that are put in place for me for a reason. Um, like I said, bro. Like I said, bro. Um, yeah. The about the staying with family, I thought maybe I can get another place again, so I stayed with my other aunt, but she lives in Maricopa. Not, she lived a couple houses down, so we transferred. It was pretty convenient, so we transferred most of our stuff to another apartment, or no, a house down the road. It was pretty easy, and get access to majority of our stuff from a storage unit, and then my stuff, which was still in the storage unit after I moved out, which was last year. Like, and then yeah, it kind of came to a point where I wanted to do my passion in my career, but I'm getting tugged and pulled into different areas. I'm trying to find a job where I'm able to make money where I'm working here and working there, and then I'm trying to find jobs here and there that pays the most, and what kind of experience job that I have, and I would put it on my resume, like I worked this place, I worked at that place, and whatever job that can pay me the highest is like, okay, so I have to go get a second job to work extra hours to go make extra income in order to for me to live on my own again and do the type of things that I want to do on myself. But my finances, like I said, my finances have been difficult throughout the whole year, and the amount of choices that I made or the amount of situations I was put in throughout the months. It's been rough year, rough. The year started pretty rough. Um, I kind of had to make my decision whether what I wanted to do, because I'm in a situation where I'm trying to get into a career that I love doing, but something that I'm passionate about. That's where I'm stuck at. So I was staying with my aunt, right? But she was kept asking me like, "Where you gonna get your own place and stuff like that?" It's like I've done that already, and I told her that in order for me to do that again, I would have to stay with a job, stay with one job, and continue with it. I was like, I can't cause no arguments with you guys, is because it puts me in a pit hole where I'm unable to stay in one spot and then save up X amount of money throughout the months and then try to go look for a place again. So that's what I was doing, and that's the mistake I made. So I tried to figure out what career I wanted to do. So I started looking into college. I was like, oh, I don't want to go to college, bro. I heard so many people that have gone to college where they don't even use the degree, and then it's just like it's useless, and then they're in so much debt, and then they're like in debt, but like they feel like they're drowning in debt somehow. Like they don't know how to pay for it. They don't know how to. But in my situation, I always thought that college is like, oh, I don't want to go to college for this. I'm not interested. Like I was interested in welding, right? But now I'm like, am I really interested in welding? Or I'm like, am I interested in doing like these stuff that people want me to do? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good that family wants me to go into a field that would make me, stand out, make a career for myself, buy a house one day, and I can't do that right now is because the situation that I put myself in is because I kept working these, minimum wage jobs, and I'm not really getting anywhere. And I would have to keep a job because of the situations that I'm put in. Because family argues here and there, we get kicked out of the house, somebody, drinks, and it affects the whole family around us, and people don't want to be around each other when that happens. And some things in life, like I think if I can recall the amount of times that I've been in a situation where my family has been substance with alcohol, I would say maybe a lot of the times. Even the current place that I'm staying in right now, I'm very fortunate that my dad allowed me to stay here again. But I personally, I wanting to live on my own right now, and that's how I feel. It's because, like, I just don't know what I want. I just like at the point, I came to a point where I'm paying off my car now. Fast forward to a couple months, May, June, July, I was still working these campaign jobs. It's so easy. The jobs are pretty easy, and then I'm trying to stay with this employer. I'm trying to stay with that job, and then it just came to a point where I just don't want to work for these campaign jobs anymore because it's not getting me anywhere. I'm not going up in the position. I'm not getting anywhere further. The job's pretty low pay, and then I end up getting high pay and low pay every other 2 weeks. I have my income here, income there, and my amount of time I work so many hours, I have to use that money to pay for other things like debt and my rent. It's just so much. But the only thing is, like, I don't know. I didn't really. Sometimes I pray and stuff like that. I ask God, like, why am I in this situation right now? And I think I kind of push God to the side and stuff like that because I don't know. Maybe God's putting me through so much things. And the situation I'm in right now, I was what recently happened like a month ago in August of this year, right? My aunt and my other aunt had a feud one morning, and it came to a point where we got kicked out of my aunt's house, and she told us to leave. And I didn't know what to do in that situation, because like it kind of came to a point where I was like, if I'm homeless, I'm homeless, right? I'm homeless. And don't mind me, I had no plan. Like, my money was running very low. I still had my job and things, I started helping my family. I started helping them with, when I stay there, I help them with rent and help them with bills and like food and whatever they need help with. And my aunt was like, just get out and go, because she didn't want anybody to stay there. So what ended up happening was I ended up staying with my other aunt, right? And because I didn't have no plan. I was still working my job. Like I said, I was still working my job. I was still, I was still working, and I just wanted to keep working in order to save money. But that plan never worked. It just never works for me. No matter how much money I make and how much time I have, it's just the same cycle. And I try to keep a job too. Like I said, don't mind me. The situations I'm put in, I can't stay at people's houses in order to save money, and they always asking me when I'm gonna move out and stuff like that. So this is where I'm at right now. It came to a point where I got tired. I'm not gonna stay with nobody. I don't feel like staying with nobody. So if I'm homeless, I'm homeless. I accepted my fate if I was homeless. But don't mind me. I still had a job in Phoenix. I still had a job. So this whole month, last week, that's when I was just for 1 week, I was homeless. So I had a gym membership. I had my gym membership. I had my, um, I had my, I had my clothes in my car. I had, um, a couple of stuff, and I had my storage unit. Obviously, I was still paying for the storage unit. Then it's kind of like you need to keep a job and you need to save money. And I was like thinking that in my head, and I was like, am I really homeless? So yeah, this whole thing messed up. I don't know. Maybe it's just because for me in general, I have matured, but in a way, I'm trying to think how to think about what I'm gonna do in my own life, like what career or what everything, not the money wise. Like, I came to a point in my life where I don't want to think about the money, because when I end up doing that, it kind of puts me through a mind state where I'm just working. I'm not working for a purpose, and I'm trying to get where I need to get to. And then I always see up these things online, and it's like people are making money off of this, off of that. You're doing a bunch of this because you're not putting yourself out there hard enough, and it's like, um, that's kind of how I feel. And hopefully anybody that's watching this, video of me ranting about my whole life throughout my 20s, especially now, um, well, I made the risk to told my dad, I was like, I can't stay out in the city no more because I'm unable to afford. I was like, I just gave up. So unable to afford living in in Arizona. Um, took my car. I still have my car, but there's freakily problems with it right now, which is hard for me to drive the car. It has excessive amount of problems. And I took my stuff that I had from my apartment, like I said, out of storage, and I took a U-Haul. Now I'm in a U-Haul, and I unloaded my stuff today, and yeah, I'm here. I'm back at home with my, you know, my stepmom. My my mom passed away when I was 12. When I was 12, this was like back in 2012. And the hardest time was actually my brother. He passed away too, right when COVID started. So it kind of put a weird spot for all of us as a family to get together and actually have like a conversation of what we're like, what we talk about and stuff like that, how we're doing and stuff like that. It's just sometimes it's like that. It's not like that anymore. Sometimes it's just it's because of the way the economy is. Everything's so expensive. People got to keep working every day. It's just the amount of it's their lives, and I realized I haven't put my life in a spot where I wanted to do great things. So I failed. I told myself I don't think I'm gonna survive in the city being homeless for another month. However how long I get out of my situation and keep working and try to do the things that I want to do. It's not. I just told myself it's not gonna work, and I prayed about it. I thought it could work, but it's not gonna work. So made the risk. Took the U-Haul, rented a U-Haul, got all my stuff out of storage, took my car, towed my car all the way to here, which I graduated from Crown Point, New Mexico, and now I'm here. I'm just literally talking in the U-Haul, and to whoever watches this and whoever sees the video and thinks that maybe he still has hope or not, but I just want to do something great with my life, you know. I've never had that feeling where I was doing something great. I'm always caught up backwards all the time. There's things where I haven't done where I want to do, but I prayed about it. Like I said, it's pretty hard. I've been through a rough life, and considering that I'm still alive, which is pretty crazy, pretty crazy that I'm still alive to manage everything. Um, like I said, bro, it's a journey. I'm assuming I'm still on a journey or a path. Um, I wanted to get into the military, but denied my request twice because I failed the ASVAB. I never studied for it, so might study it one more time. If I don't get it in, if I don't get in whatsoever, if I fail the test again, I won't go for the military. It's just if it's not meant for me, it's not meant for me. Like I said, it's not meant for everybody. I took the risk to coming out here is because, for one, hopefully my dad helps me out with a job pretty soon, or I might work locally. I just don't know my plans right now. I have options to go move out with my sister again, which I didn't mention. I lived in Illinois for about a year, and I actually enjoyed it. Yes, I actually enjoyed it. Is because the amount of train rides I was riding, and then plus I'd get somewhere. I would go somewhere every weekend on the train to go to St. Louis, and it's a whole different story. But yeah, I'm just I made the video, so 58 minutes. I don't know who's gonna watch this, but or maybe this video will never come out. Who knows? Um, but it's a whole hour, almost basically a whole hour watching this whole video. If you're going through something, never give up. Keep going. Um, whatever whatever's stopping you from doing whatever you're doing, keep going. No matter how hard my life is, I'm still gonna keep going, whatever it is. I had a hard life already. I'm still going. I just don't know what direction I'm going into or where God's gonna take me pretty soon, but I know it's gonna be good. I'm just pray that everything goes well for you and for me and people that are, out in the streets and people that are, for them, yeah, celibate. But anyways, It's getting dark. I basically talked for a whole hour, and yeah, this is my video. And we'll end it here. And hope you guys have a good day. And make sure you drink some water and eat at least.